Did you find my loot? I feel almost naked without it.
Yes, I recovered it.
You found it! How wonderful! Oh, I missed my loot Fala so much. Oh, thank you. Oh, I feel so happy. I think I want to play a song now. Oh, Fala, let's make some beautiful music together. I'm so happy I could just sing.
How did you wind up in the Grotto of Depravity?
After our city wound up in Cold Harbor, everyone was scattered. I sought shelter in a cave. Big mistake. The Dremora in there, they were having some kind of sick party. Forced me to play and play and play.
But you were able to escape?
After more years than I care to remember, they gave me short rest periods every few days, but they kept my loot so I wouldn't run away. Eventually, I decided I couldn't take it anymore. I left poor Fla behind and made my way back here.
This is a gathering for Undaunted, and you're no Undaunted.
I'm not.
My friend, this table is for the worthy, the bold.
This room is for the undaunted stranger.
That way. Okay, well, that takes care of that. I think this way. Best way to do that. Little light want me to follow.
Ew! Be sure to wash your hands.
Oh, calm down, Xander. We've done worse things. Like, follow this little light.
I can't go on like this. Fine. We can't go on like this.
Yes?
I'll handle this, sir. You can come out and see in a moment. So, someone has come to help us at last.
Are you talking to yourself?
We're out here in the middle of Cold Harbor, and that's the best question you can come up with? I am most definitely not talking to myself. I'm speaking to the alchemist. Be quiet, you mangy cat. I can't hear myself think with all that racket.
I'm so sorry, but I don't see anyone else here.
Patience, sir. I'll explain everything. I am with the Mages Guild. We stepped through the portal and wound up in this vile laboratory. Daedra experimented on us. They merged our two souls. Now we're wasting away as this soul meld kills us.
Maybe I can help? Oh.
Ah, to see out of Khajiit eyes again. Zar hates being caged in that dark place.
You must be the alchemist.
Yes, this one is pretty famous. Perhaps you have heard of Zar. But Zar must tell you, this soul meld is killing us. will you help us? Will you unmeld our souls?
Sure, what do you need me to do?
Unmeld is so to a word. Pardon. The dwarven device that caused this is inside the laboratory, but Robo blocks the way. Collect Zar's notes and a bottle of pearl tincture. With those, this one can make a potion that will get you past the rubble.
Alright, I'll find your notes in the tincture, but I have a few questions.
Questions are good. Ask and ask again. That is the systematic method of experimentation. Remember that you must know the rules before you can successfully break them.
What kind of potion will get me past the rubble?
Their specialty is transmutation. Change one thing into another. So, not too difficult to change you from large to small. Then you can slip past the obstacles that block the entrance. Zer never said it would be easy, Dark Elf. Mind your tongue.
Can't you just teleport me inside?
Unfortunately, no. The soul meld weakens us, and we must conserve our strength. With the recipe and the ingredients, this one can make a transmutation potion and exert almost no energy whatsoever. A much better approach at this time, yes?
Were you part of the expedition to Cold Harbor?
Oh yes, we came to defeat the evil Moloch Ball. Or was it Menemarco? There forgets. So many bad things start with the letter M. But something went wrong and Godress, and this one ended up here. That's when the Daedra melded our souls.
Okay. I'm sort of laughing at myself.
New research awaits.
Why are you in my way? We just take everything from that chest to this poor guy who has nothing. Oh, we even have zombies. We're gonna get this attention of the zombies.
A divergence point! Ha!
Transmutation of a living creature is the use of pearl tincture created from the inherited essence of this rare gem can stabilize a transmutation potion. Alright, and last one is over here.
Psst, over here. This one used an illusion spell. Very little effort. It is good to be out and about. Cold Harbor is an inhospitable place, but this one is adaptable.
What are you doing here?
Zer thought this was where he left the tincture, so I came to investigate. Don't tell Godress that Zer was here. A simple illusion spell protected me. But Godress gets worried. Me? I like to explore.
Must be strange sharing your body with someone else.
This one has always enjoyed trying new and different things. But this situation, it is very strange, very awkward. Is that thought me, sir? Or me, Godress? This one can never be certain where his thoughts end, and Godress's begin. Very confusing, yes?
Okay. So... find the entrance. Ah. Okay. I regret it, but I want it. Over there, you rising up.
Good find, cohort.
Zar told you our friend would find us, Godress. You worry too much. Godress is upset because we had to hide behind some rocks. Undignified, he said. Well, Zer says that being eaten by a deformed creature is even more undignified.
I have the things you asked for.
Quiet, Godress. This one knows what he's doing. This is most fragrant work, my friend. Most fragrant. Zer shall draft the potion immediately. It should make you slightly smaller. Certainly small enough to squeeze through the rubble.
How long will I remain small?
Long enough to slip into the laboratory. A few minutes, give or take. Now, let Zer think. Was it 6 or 7 drops of tincture?
I hope you know what you're doing. I'm gonna let him be. I'm gonna look around.
Zer thinks he saw some dried scarecrow over here. Ah, yes, here it is.
Scarecrow? What?
Ah, Zer's finest potion yet. We'll drink it now, yes?
This grows more taxing by the hour. Here is the potion. I hope Zer didn't cut any corners, but knowing him, it probably tastes terrible.
So this is the potion that will make me small?
Yes, Zer. I'll be sure to mention it. I am not a mixer of potions, and I don't want to debate the merits of alchemy with Zer again. But the cat knows what he's doing. Inside, look for my notebook. It lists what you need to craft the antipodal rods.
The antipodal what?
Rods that will reverse the soul meld. Just find the components and craft the rods. We will try to recuperate and regain enough strength to teleport ourselves inside. If you have questions, please ask them before you drink the potion.
I think I'm just gonna go drink the potion now.
The potion will work, you'll see. And know that I am grateful for your help. We both are.
I am a monkey. Great. Xander, look, I'm a monkey. Look, Xander, look. Xander, you are having no reaction to me being a monkey, and I am really saddened by this. Why? There doesn't need to be a monkey. I can be a monkey. Okay, I'm trying to climb. Why is it so hard to be a monkey? Xander. We're no longer a monkey, Xander. What happened to that guy? Gross. I knew Malachite would not have the conductivity required for this process. We pursued yet another futile path, but Zur was insistent. We'll keep at it. I do wish Zur would take the time to organize and collect his notes, though. Through the process of elimination and trial and error, trial on my part, error when Zur was in control, I think we finally made a breakthrough. I believe that the following items will result in antipodal rods that can conduct the currents of magic are required to reverse the soul mill. Ebony ore, crystalline essence, refined void salts. Do not under the circumstances use unrefined salts. The base components require an catalyst. I do further research. Okay. Is it? Refined.
Going to need a moment. I'm not a young man. You're interrupting scholarship!
Teleport spell worked. This one is here. Be careful, friend. The dwarven constructs have awakened.
I despair of ever finding a solution to the catalyst problem. Even Zur's usual confounded optimism cannot seem to lift my spirits. I've gone over all possible candidates for a catalyst to ignite the process to forge the antipodal rods. The only substitute that we might have access to is the corrupted blood of a feral creature. We examined a dead creature and Zur tried to transform its blood, but his alchemic process was flawed. Our Daedra captures, however, apparently had more success in this area. Samples of corrupted blood are stored in the experiment chamber, where they are guarded by a monster the Daedra created using that very same blood. Now you comprehend my despair. If I had enough strength to access my full power, I could easily subdue this monster, and we could take as many vials as the corrupted blood as we could carry. As it is, we barely have the energy to cast simple illusions, and even those fail more often than not. There is no way we could survive an encounter with the Chamber's guardians. Zur firmly holds to the hope that someone will find us, but I suspect that our Mages Guild companions are busy dealing with their own problems. I fear this mission has already ended in failure and that we are doomed to succumb to the soul meld, but I shall not dash Zur's hope. As disorganized as he can be, I find some small comfort in his blind faith.
Zur hates standing in the green goo. No amount of licking gets it out of one's fur.
You made it inside.
Godris worries so much. He wanted to make sure you found the catalyst. The catalyst makes the rod strong enough to withstand both magicka and machinery.
How
Things this one likes very much.
How were you able to get inside? How were you able to work in here?
After the soul meld, the overseer ignored us. The dwarven constructs were inactive, so we were able to work here in relative peace. Yes, Godris, everything was fine until Zur exploded something. The Dark Elf sure knows how to hold a grudge.
What did you explode?
Many things. The last one was pretty spectacular. It was an accident, of course. Godris was so mad because we were forced outside, but it proved his first suggestion for a catalyst didn't work. So, the experiment was successful.
A catalyst?
The basic ingredients can be melted, but without a catalyst to imbue them with strength and elemental, alchemy is not boring, Godris. Ah, very well. Godris wrote about a proper catalyst for the antipodal rods. He wants you to read his notes.
Get that. I know where to go. We are gonna go this way. Neat now. Ooh. Oh, gross. Here, if you guys... Ew. Ew. Okay. Oh. Bummer, dude. Alright, well.
Over here! The constructs have moved away from the forge. All this skulking around using up valuable energy on apprentice-level illusions. I grow ever more weary. Even Zur's enthusiasm is ebbing.
I've got the corrupted blood.
I'm afraid to hope too much. But you've made such progress. Perhaps we shall end this torment after all. The constructs have moved off. The forge area is clear. At least for the moment.
What do I need to do at the forge?
Melt the components in the furnace, then craft 2 rods from the mixture. There is an anvil near the furnace. Be careful, though. The mixture can be volatile. The machine that merged us is further on, in the Overseer's atelier. We'll meet there.
Oh, we only got one. So now we're gonna have to decide who survives and who goes. Aren't we? I don't like this game. Okay.
And tranquility.
Gonna make me choose which one to save and which one needs to die, right? How that's gonna go. Calling it right now.
Teleportation was never this difficult before. The spell took so much out of me I was afraid we would never materialize. But Xur has the key to this room. He acquired it shortly after we'd got here. Were you able to craft the antipodal rods?
I followed your directions. What will the rods do?
We are so close. You need to use the rods to activate the dwarven device that performed the soul meld. Oh, and the crystal. I'm getting as careless as Xur. Look for a glowing crystal. The Overseer placed it in the machine to power the device.
Place the crystal and insert the rods. This will separate the two of you?
Well, in a manner of speaking. Understand that Xur and I do not have two separate bodies to return to. But if this works, the soul meld won't kill the both of us.
So what happens to you?
The magic will separate the intertwined strands of our souls, but only one of us will survive the process. Do not be dismayed. We rejoice at a chance for one of us to survive. Go on ahead. We will meet you inside momentarily.
Can I ask a few questions?
Stop shouting, Xur. What? Oh, yes, of course. No, you're right. Xur reminds me that you have been most helpful, and we need to rest anyway. So I decided not to cut you off with a snide retort. Please accept my apologies and ask your questions.
Why does the two souls weaken you so badly?
Based on our own experience, it appears that merging two souls into one vessel causes an internal storm as the souls vie for control. It takes all of our mental fortitude to maintain our individual personalities.
Which one of you will survive the process?
If the device works the way I expect, then the person operating it will decide which of our souls survives the reversal process and which is discarded. I guess it will be up to you to choose who lives and who dies.
Flippin' called it. How do I choose which one of you to save?
Well, I could make a strong case as to why I should be the one to survive. My qualifications, my experience, my worth to the Mages Guild. But the truth is, I have grown fond of Xur. My right to survive is no greater than his. I cannot advise you.
Meet you inside. Take this.
The overseer's in there. He put us into this dwarven machine. He's dangerous.
I'm sorry it came to this.
Do not worry. This one is not afraid. The process can be reversed. Our research tells us this. There is optimistic. And if I die, then it is just on to another adventure, yes?
If it comes down to my decision, which one of you should I choose?
We are very different. Xur has learned much sharing a dark elf's mind. Few Khajiit experience such a wonder, yes? Godress will do many great things, provided the unmelding works. And so will Xur. But this one would never choose himself over another.
I don't know. Making me kind of tear up, because I don't want to choose either one. Like, can't I do both?
Perhaps a tactical approach.
And look, a light of Meridia crystal.
I wasn't sure the illusion would last long enough to make it across the chamber, but it did. I wasn't sure the illusion would last long enough to make it across the chamber, but it did.
As the end approaches, this one must admit that he will miss our time together. This one can't believe you crossed this chamber without so much as an illusion to mask your presence. You are so brave. This one, Xur's whiskers were twitching inside the Dark Elf's head.
What do I do next?
Next comes the exciting part. You test our theory. See those two pillars? One represents Xur, the other Godress. Insert the antipodal rods and turn on the device. If it works, you should be able to separate our melded souls.
But I can only restore one of you.
Yes, as we have explained, one body, one soul. At least one of us will survive to help the Mages Guild. This one knows you will make the right decision. Place the crystal into the machine, then insert an antipodal rod into each pillar to start the unmelding process. Please, hurry. One of us must be saved.
How do I know which one is which? I hated it. I hate it.
How strange this feels. To be simply Xur again is lonely.
Are you alright?
Xur is fine. At least, Xur thinks it is true. This one feels strangely empty. This one is Xur again. But, thanks to my time with Godress, this one is also different.
What will you do now?
Xur wants very much to leave this place. Many bad memories. The door is nearby. It will open from this side. Meet us, me, outside. My abilities grow stronger already. This one can create a portal to somewhere safe, once we are outside.
Alright, I'll meet you outside. I hated that. They both wanted to live. I'm gonna choose to believe that Gadris does, a part of him does live on. I think Zer's not gonna forget him. Oh, we're dropping that. Alright, well, we broke that with our back.
Sir's mind feels empty, silent. I miss Godris already.
You mentioned information for the Mages Guild earlier?
During our time together, we determined that the dwarven device operates on the same principles as Molag Bal's plane mail. Zur will honor the Dark Elf's memory and give him credit for this discovery. Thank you again for saving us, my friend. This one is strong enough to open a portal now. We shall go to this hollow city Zur has heard so much about. The portal shall remain open for only a few minutes, my friend. Zur hopes to see you again in the hollow city.
Yeah, you'll see me, but I'm not gonna follow you. Only because I want to travel on.
We can use this.
I know, Xander. I know. I'm really bummed by that quest. My other fear in choosing was I didn't know if I was choosing the one to be sacrificed and pulling the lever. Well, you take them, buddy. I'm not gonna mess with you. Right, that is that. I want to continue on this way. Alright. Black Forge, supplies of ebony alloy, cold iron are stable at 17,500 tons. That's barely enough to forge the shackle, given typical rate of loss in the casting process. Might be wise to send for another 2,000 tons from the mine burrows in the side of the mountainous corpse of the Iron Colossus. Better safe than sorry. I'm honored to report that we discovered the source of the depletion in the supplies of the charcoal of remorse. Cinder Ibs have been getting into the vault through a forgotten plasma duct and gorging on the Sea of R. We learned this when we found one so bloated it was unable to get back through the duct opening. We sent an explosive ductworm which found the nest and discorporated it, all the Cinder Imps. Deficiencies in the supply of charcoal or remorse have been made up by increasing torment quotas on the Soul Shriven. I don't wish to be the one to point talons, but it's my duty to report that even if the shackle is forged according to schedule, we will not be able to quench it if we do not receive our shipment of the blood of 1,000 innocents. We have gotten repeated assurances from Thart to Nyx that our shipment will be on its way any shift now, but so far all we received are promises. I hesitate to alleviate this to the overkin level, but I think it's high time the matter was looked into. Right, so we need to go do, I want to go do this dungeon. And time-wise, that should be the last thing I do with you guys tonight. And beknownst to you, I've actually been playing for about 2 hours. Vault of Haman Forge Fire discovered. The loading message said that Nords refused to interact with Molag Bal, and so he did something to take this script. That's something. Oh. Surely you've heard the legend of Haman Forgefire, crafter to kings, manipulator of metals. Forgefire was known as the greatest blacksmith in all of the land. Jarls, Thanes, and anyone who could afford the exorbitant prices he commanded sought out Forgefire to create a precious dagger, a sturdy shield, a mighty warhammer, and a suit of finely wrought armor. After a time, Forgefire had to limit the number of commissions he accepted for any given period, and he refused to take on so much that the work would suffer. Other blacksmiths claimed that Forgefire could speak to the ore and charm the impurities away with a wink and a whisper. Most revered the man and were in awe of his skills. A few, however, were jealous of Forgefire's accomplishments. They tried to poison the opinions against him, claiming that his methods involved nothing short of magic, and foul magic at that. Daedra magic. Chief among the outspoken smiths was the armorer, Coldheart. Coldheart was loud and vocal of her distrust of Forgefire and his methods. She wondered aloud in whatever crowded and boisterous tavern she happened to be drinking in, what vile Daedric prince, the proud and boastful Haman, Forgefire had pledged himself to in order to accomplish his miracles with metal. Of course, nothing could be further from the truth. Forgefire was simply brilliant, but that didn't stop Coldheart from spreading her rumors at each and every opportunity. Soon, her hatred of Forgefire was almost all-consuming, and it began to affect her work, which had been impressive in its own right, until it began to suffer as her jealousy grew. Forgefire did his best to ignore the increasingly wilder tales, but commissions were becoming harder and harder to come by, as Coldheart's rumors circulated. Haman couldn't understand why she insisted on saying such false and terrible things. He soldiered on as best as he could, however taking what work still came his way, and praying that something would happen to reverse the downward spiral his fortune seemed to be caught in. That's when the greatest commission of his career appeared on his doorstep. The mighty hero, Neville the Tongue, was in the market for a new weapon, and not just any weapon. It had to be a weapon of excellent quality, something to match his beloved sword, Edunj? For his next adventure, Neville wanted a hand axe, and he wanted it crafted by the legendary blacksmith, Forgefire. Delighted at this opportunity and excited by the challenge, he began to work on his most spectacular piece ever, an hand axe oaken. Coldheart, meanwhile, was furious. She had petitioned for the commission to craft the Tongue's new weapon, and again, despite her best efforts, Haman was chosen instead of her. Enraged, she did the only thing she could think of. Coldheart embraced the very story she'd been telling about Forgefire, and prayed to the Daedric prince for aid and assistance. He prayed to Molag Bal. For 5 days and 5 nights, Coldheart remained under her own forge, begging Molag Bal to answer her prayers. On the morning of the 6th day, the Lord of Brutality answered her call, but it was never a simple matter to ask the Daedric Prince for a favor. Molag Bal especially requires that a cost must always be paid. For Cold Heart, that cost had to be paid in blood. Kill the smith with the blade crafted by your own hand. Molag Bal promised, and I shall make you more famous than Forgefire ever could hope to be. Forgefire completed Oaken, and it was spectacular. He delivered to Knevel just in time for his next journey. And when Forgefire returned to the smithy, he saw Coldheart standing before his furnace, silhouetted in the glow of fire. Did you enjoy the adoration of the great Nord hero, Haman? Coldheart asked. I do hope so, for it's the last honor you will receive in this life. Coldheart spun and plunged her sword into Forgefire's heart. The master smith stumbled, falling into the tense heat. Intense fire burning in his own furnace. His body, engulfed in flames, burned for 3 days, but was not consumed. During that time, Coldheart screamed that she could hear Forgefire's cry of pain no matter how far she ran. Neville proclaimed that Girl-hid Coldheart was the worst villain of the age, and brought her before the Thane of Windhelm to be executed for her crime. For that one moment, she had indeed become more famous than Forgefire. When Coldheart's head was separated from her body, Forgefire, smithy and all, disappeared from Tamriel. To this very day, it is said that Forgefire stalks the shadows of Cold Harbor, seeking to finally get revenge against the jealous and treacherous Coldheart, and anyone else who happens to get in his way. And that's what they mean when they said, that somehow, Molag Bal got his hand on a Nord place. Because the loading screen says that. They don't deal with... Nords will not deal with, will not make any deals with Molag Bal. Sorry, words were suddenly very hard there. Nope, I can't go that way. Okay, noted. Gonna be the long way.
Make better choices.
Thank you.
Perhaps a tactical approach.
don't want to.
Reverse that impediment.
Nope. Going into the lava does hurt. Here. Stander. There we go. I got a little panicky.
We have an accord.
I don't wanna. I really don't wanna. Sander, how do we do this?
Invigorating.
So how fair is that? He's murdered. And he's the one that has to pay the price for all eternity.
Interrupting scholarship!
I don't want to continue on. But I also need to go play other games for you guys.
Quality material makes for quality goods.
Alright, this game will still be here. I will be back. Thanks for keeping me company.